Hello, and welcome back to some more Hero Rise. This time it's the sequel for Hero Rise, the Hero Project now, by same artist, Zachary Sergi. Thank you again for making the games, and thank you for joining me today. We're going to be going through the prologue, and each video is going to be one chapter, same as I did for the last segment of the storyline. And we'll go from there. I hope you all are having a wonderful day, and let's get started. Prologue, the one that got away. You're not yourself. At least not today. Right now, you're a normal civilian sitting on the train, trying to enjoy a few minutes of peace before getting to your day job. You couldn't sleep last night. Something just kept you tossing and turning. Actually, not something. You know exactly what was bothering you. But this thought is interrupted as the sound of screeching metal cuts through the silence. You'd look up, but you have no idea which way is up anymore. The train car has begun to roll, twisting and scraping the way off the tracks. When it's finally still again, you force your eyes open. You see burning, you hear someone screaming, and it takes some time for you to realize that it's you. And that's when you see them. You cover your mouth with your hand, wetting your face with blood. You try to remain still to not even breathe. No survivors. But you hear these words and you react. Keep playing dead, make a run for it, try to hide in the wreckage, knock yourself out, stand up and face your fate. Stand up. There's no use in running. They already know you're there from the screaming. Besides, you've never been one to run and hide. So you hobble to your feet, trying your best to stand up straight. Of course he sees you, and he smiles, or at least you think he's smiling, under the needle that passes as his nose. He looks even more horrifying in person than you could have imagined. I admire your spirit, he says, his voice a shrill buzz. Go to hell. He doesn't answer. His needle nose just twitches before he plunges it into your neck. Alright, I guess I'm actually doing a double for this one. Might as well, right? Part 1, 15 minutes. Chapter 1, Begin Again. You startle awake, shuffling the papers on your desk. Looking around, you realize that you're in your bedroom. You must have fallen asleep while writing a letter to your parents. That dream. It was so vivid these days you've been having nightmares more often than you'd like. Above all kinds of nasty things, and all these powered terrorist train attacks in Millennia City have been all over the news lately. Blinking a few times to shake it off, you look down at the letter, which is now blotched with drool stains. Today is the big day. You read those words and pause. In truth, today could be a big day. Or a very small day. You know that's going to be up to you, mostly. Picking up a pen, you stare down at the page. You've taken to writing letters to your parents in actual pen and paper instead of through your ME chip. You had to go to a specialty store to even find the stuff, but still, something about it makes you feel more rooted, more honest. Well, at least it usually does. Habadibi, can you help me with something? Grandma calls from outside. Thanks for the distraction. Thankful for the distraction. You pop out to your feet and head for the stairs. You walk by a row of unpacked boxes that Grandma has been nagging you about. You've only lived in this house for a month, but Grandma expected to be fully settled already. You were worried about where you might move with Grandma, but the Powered Family Protection Program came up with quite the parting gift. They offered you reduced rent on a townhouse in the Millennial Mews. The Mews are a small gated community at the top of Millennia City's Rain Hill, offering maximum security living for public heroes and their families. That's actually funny. I remember at the end of the first one, um, at the end of the first game, I was allowed to go and spend some time over at the MCU, or their big hero headquarters. So I guess this is after the fact now that I'm moving into another place with the PFPP. But then I thought it was funny because the Tirana Rain was my sidekick, so that's kind of funny. Anyways, the Muse proved to be the housing options that trumped anything else you had been considering. Still, you had some pretty strong opinions on moving in. It's perfect for my current situation because it's highly private. It's great for my current situation. I love living close to their prestigious heroes. I want to stay in the eastern fringes, but Grandma insisted. No, I don't. I want to move into the Millennial Group Tower, but Grandma needed you here. I hate being cooped up. I had hoped to move out on my own. There we go. Living in this compound feels like living in a fancy cage, and as if life with Grandma wasn't smothering enough, you now have to deal with a security staff that is a record of your comings and goings. However, after everything that you went through, you couldn't pass up the opportunity to live somewhere completely secure. The Muse have had their own personal security squad and a cutting-edge surveillance system. Usually the Muse cater to much wealthier and more high-profile residents, but the PFPB helped you earn a spot after the Hero of Tomorrow debacle that outed your sashimi identity. And you have to admit the townhouse is as gorgeous as it is comfortable. The gated grounds are super lush, lined with benches and parks, and with all your old furniture from your Fringes apartment mixed in with the renovated townhouse, it still feels like home, just better. Hey, if this is one perk that came from the hell that Prodigal put you through, you'll take it. You walk out into the backyard plot, which Grandma's already transformed into a garden paradise. She's gone with a more natural style, totally overgrown and wild, and everywhere you turn there's an explosion of unexpected color. Of course, Grandma has already replanted Gunmatilia, but the rose has yet to grow in yet. Habadivi, Grandma says, waving shears in your direction. Could you grab the ladder? Oakley tells me there's a particular stubborn branch that needs pruning up there. You turn and spot the ladder leaning against the side of the house. I control gravity and atoms, so I don't... just carry it over. Not needing a lecture on the needless power uses this particular moment, you walk over and grab the ladder. Thanks ever so much, Grandma says, looking down at her watch. My, shouldn't you be on your way by now? Glancing down at your ME chip, you realize that you're already running late. Slugger, you whisper, turning back towards the house. Now wait just a minute, Grandma says, stopping you in your tracks. Don't you know never to leave an old woman without saying goodbye first? Please, you're gonna find some secret... Oh, yeah, you're going to find some secret plant serum and outlive us all, you say, rushing back over to give Grandma a hug. Promise me not to push it with those new powers of yours, she whispers in your ear. Pulling away, you look down at Grandma. Where's the fun in that? You know I won't. Maybe if I know about them sooner, I have more time to practice. You know I won't. Just remember how much you loved your old powers. They work just fine, Grandma says. You give her a look. Don't push it, Gran. She nods, sending you on your way. Oh, so is that kind of the decision I made? Because I wasn't too bad. I have like 4 power sets. Which means I have a lot of versatility. How am I getting notifications? Oh, that's why. Okay. Back in your room, you walk up into your bookshelf and pause to look over the victory corner. Someday, you hope to turn into the entire shelf. But for now, the focal point in the dunce action figure from the Official Hero of Tomorrowland, the fact that you already have your own action figure blows your mind, though you try to ignore the fact that it's the lowest selling model in HOT's history. Reaching behind the figure, you push against a hidden panel. With a soft whoosh, a secret door swings open, and on the other side of the room, most Muse houses come with a secret lair compartment. Yours is the only one the size of a closet, but it still might be your favorite place on the planet. Walking inside, you pause to look at it. Screens that display my most notable press moments, a collection of artifacts from my rogues gallery, posters of all the heroes who inspire me the most, a digital bulletin board with potential missions. We'll do that one. Keep me informed. Which at the moment is painfully empty. But you're distracted as you realize that the glass display case is empty. Your dunce costume isn't there. Feeling a rush of panic swell in your throat, your eyes dart around the room. Before you can see anything else, however, a figure pops into your line of sight. It's your ME chip assistant whose personality you decided to keep the same. I want my fancy little diva. ME Chip Ju has been with you through everything, and that's the way you plan to keep it. Granny got a message for you too, honey boo. ME Chip Ju snaps, floating in front of you in a sequined romper. Standing next to Ju is Cynthia, Grandma's brand new ME Chip person. That's right, I did get her one. She appears to be made entirely of twisted roots and constantly simulates photosynthesis. Hence the name, which Grandma finds endlessly clever. Oh, Hobba Grandma nearly forgot, Cynthia said in her gravelly voice. Check your closet. Inside your actual closet, you find one of Grandma's famously wrapped presents with a leafy note on top. It's never too late for a fresh start. Smiling big, you rip open your present to find a brand new costume. Oh, I lost my black leotard? Oh. You've been having fun toying around and refreshing your look and even drawing up some sketches. Grandma must have found your favorite and made this for you, and it's perfect. You decided to go with some silver and red elements to really honor your sashimi legacy. Beyond that, the costume is sleek and streamlined, very dark and simple with a few color pops, tight and a bit revealing. Bright and color blocked over the top. Black and white with your silver ring as a chest emblem. So what am I in? I am red. What was that? Silver and red. I'm trying to imagine this in my head real quick. Okay, so silver, red. I can do black and white, I guess. Most importantly, on the right hand glove, there's one fingerless hole to display the silver tattoo that wraps around your finger. Never let you go. And you see Grandma has incorporated all of your upgrades, though they will only work on your old power set. Sadly, Infinity class powers are still too new for them to be upgrades quite yet. Ju and Grandma the biggest thank you possible. Oh no, Ju send Grandma the biggest thank you possible. My bad. You say already ripping off your clothes, you cannot wait and test out the new costume. 15 minutes later, as you rocket through the downtown sky, you can't believe how well the new costume handles it. Makes flying a breeze. Or maybe that's just because you're finally mastering the art of flying, or your new gravity powers. Whatever the reason, this costume couldn't have come at a better time. It's been 7 months since the Prajal death wave, and 7 months. Holy, okay. Helping rebuild the destruction, maybe. Working with Malayo Group. Spending time with Black Magic. I'm going to say helping rebuild. That sounds like something I would do. Thanks to your heroic actions, no one died in the fringes. Still, you've been rebuilding the structural damage done on the outskirts. Aside from that, it's been pretty astonishing to see how quickly your 15 minutes of fame can fade from the public's memory. Now that you've been cleared of all the charges from the whole prodigal mess and you have your fully licensed hero status back, you're determined not to be a one-hit wonder. You're ready to keep the momentum up and move on to the next big thing. And you've signed up for something today you think might take your career to the next level, the national level. Is my stats still the same from last time? Jenny. Oh, I have a thing now for Jenny. Whoa. Whoa! What is this? Okay. I was always codename. I have. What the heck? What is all this? There's some new things here. Okay. Justice. That was the same. Lawful. Yeah. Defensive. Yeah. Team player. Yeah. Control and what the frick? I'm assuming that's for the infinite powers. Loved. Hated. Alright, so I want to be loved. Okay. Underdog and popular. I still have money. I have my legend. My relationships, grandma was pretty good there, 96. Jenny, 96. I didn't have one for Jenny before, so that's kind of cool. The victims, yeah, I don't want them. Rebellion. Oh, so it's no longer the MC group. It's now just Rebellion. Okay. Rexford Schillers. Why is that so low? He wasn't in the last one, I don't think, was he? Well, I know he was a character in the last one. I don't think he was an actual relationship, though. Black Magic was sitting good, and then Unknown. And World Statistic. Huh. Okay. Cool. I already read all that. That was okay. However, before you get started, you need to stop and sign up for your first hero unemployment check. Despite all the splashy media attention you've been getting, you haven't made a dime for months. Your first rent check is due, and you promised Grandma you paid $1,500 of it every month, since the PFPP is also subsidizing the cost of the townhouse. And considering you only have $4,271 in bank account, it isn't going to last terribly long. Waiting in line, you wish you had thought to bring a trench coat or a hat, anything to hide behind. You may be wearing a new costume, but now that you've been outed, you don't have to wear a mask anymore, which means anyone can see that you, Dunce, Millennia City's supposed hero of tomorrow, is collecting unemployment checks for a measly $2,000 a month. The rate is much lower for out-of-work heroes to discourage aspirants from choosing that particular career path. So, you pretend to look very busy reading something on your ME chip. You know what they say, child. ME chip juice starts. A dollar makes me holler. Oh, you! Oh! Jew, I love you. A dollar makes me holler! Stepping back outside, you see that a brand new ME chip store has opened next door, and you can't help but duck in to look around, especially because you've been wanting to check out a brand new release. A minute later, you stand in the MG short looking down a holo display for the Warning System 7 upgrade. It's one of the most valuable ME chip updates. The Warning System will enable ME chip Jew to alert you if your power or health levels drop dangerously low without having to go through the show stat screen on your ME chip. Fourth wall break. It was also to enable Jew to inform you of strategic possibilities and warn you if there's about to make a decision with a high level of risk. Ooh. Of course, you can always choose to ignore the warning system, but it might come in handy keeping you alive in dangerous situations. You only hesitate because it costs $50,000. Unlock the ME chip warning system again at no additional charge. You've paid to unlock the ME chip warning system with an in-app purchase. Don't buy it. I could try, because it sounds interesting to get a little bit more insight. Worst comes to worst is I can't afford it, so I'll try. It may be expensive, but you have a feeling it's going to pay for itself in 10 times over. Oh, child, it's about time you got that stank behind some protection, Emmy Chipju shouts, flopping her curly weaves to the side. Heading back outside, you look down at the time. Perfect. You'll be right on time to meet. Duns? You turn around to find a teenage boy gawking at you. I thought that was you, he says, approaching. I love the new look. You spent most of your time expecting people to ignore you or treat you like nothing, so you still can't believe when someone recognizes you or cares enough to talk to you. Well, you're the first person to see it, you say, reaching out your hand to shake. Think I could get an ME picture? The teen asks, beaming. Of course. Wait, am I in negatives now? How'd my money go up? Oh, that's right, 2,000. I'm stupid. Okay, that's right. But you stop as a public news holo screen flashes to life in a nearby open window. You both turn to find Shiri Saw with a breaking news report on Hero Line. This morning, a small Millennial City Railroad MCRR community train was subject to another devastating terrorist attack. This is now the third strike this month, leaving dozens dead and a precious few survivors severely injured. The screen flashes with more images of the flaming train wreck, footages that is eerily close to the nightmare that you had earlier today. You almost have to look away, not wanting to give your brain any new material for another bad dream. The everyman were on the scene to assist authorities in saving as many lives as possible, but word is that those responsible were not captured. Once again, the shadowy, powered terrorist organization known as the Info Order has taken credit. Although its members and motives still remain a secret, their leader posted this message. On the holoscreen, you see a man step forward, or at least the body of a man, underneath an oversized mosquito head. I am Kulik, he says, his voice like a buzzing fly. The Infra Order has attacked this train today to prove a point. 1. You don't need to know yet, but there will be more attacks on commuter trains, so my advice, call in sick. Before you even have a chance to process that chilling command, an image of Mayor Victon fills the holoscreen, causing a brand new wave of disgust to run through you. I want to reassure the people of Millennial City that another one of these attacks will not be tolerated. We are working with the appropriate police and powered response units to monitor train routes and have all cylinders firing in the search of Kulik's Infra Order. We urge all of the MC citizens continue taking MCRR trains to work. There is no doubt that the goal of these attacks is to cripple the daily functions of this city. Let's stand up and show these powered terrorists that we will not let them intimidate us. You know you won't be getting any calls from Mayor Victon to be a part of his special powered response units. You also know that another one of these attacks will be difficult to pull off. Every aspiring and established powered hero in the city is going to be glued to the train tracks, hopefully to get their big break taking on the Infra Order. You even thought about doing it yourself, but it's not the right move for my career. I have decided to wait to tackle this with a Millennial group. I even tried, but there are much better uses of my heroic time. But it's not the right move for my career. How to answer this one, actually. Alright, so if all the heroes will focus on the train tracks, that means that there's a lot of other things going on in the town. I even tried. I'm not going to do that one. That's dumb, because I just said I was rebuilding on the outskirts. Okay, so that one's out. There are much better uses of my heroic time. Yes, as I said, I could have been doing other things. I've decided to tackle it with the Millennial group once they return. Not so much. It's not the right move for my career. That's kind of selfish. So I'm going to say there's better uses for my heroic time because I could still be out there fighting or stopping other activities. Leaving that kind of hustling to the amateurs, you need to focus on committing to work that you can guarantee that will make a difference. The screen switches again and displays the leader of the meek, Constance Obach, stands at a podium. Constance Obach, my bad. Is there really much much for me to even say. These powered lunatics are making their true selves known, and this is another prime example of why all of these so-called unpowered folk, the normal, God-fearing people of America, need to band together and say enough is enough. After all, it is the meek who shall inherit the earth. We need to, as Constance rattles on, you think of how the world is a different place than when you left it, at least for powered heroes. Thanks in large part to Prodigal's Death Wave incident and the discovery of Infinity-class powers, anti-powered sentiment has spread in America. It appears the golden age of powered heroes has begun to wane. And it used to be much easier to ignore the anti-powered rantings of the meek, since they were mostly viewed on extremist cult, but they've experienced a surge in their numbers and have actually become a legitimate political movement in recent months, claiming to be seeking heavier regulation for powered individuals, though you bet their true agenda is even worse. This trend is especially alarming since the meek have officially endorsed Mayor Victon as their presidential candidate, because one of his primary campaign backers after he announced his powered regulation platform. Right after your little rooftop rendezvous with Mayor Victon, he announced his late candidacy for the presidential election, standing alongside Miss Victon, Millennia City's beloved First Lady. The Victons have spent many of the months since working on that primary debate and the Victons campaign, all of which led to Mayor Victon being named the presumptive nominee of his constitutive party. Although you know Victon someday becoming president would be very bad for you, at least he's been so busy on this campaign trail that he's got bigger things to worry about than you, which gives you some time to figure out how to eventually handle the Victons. In the meantime, given this alarming turn of events, you decided to add an anti-powered sediment meter to your Emmy chip show stats screen to keep track of the national and social climate. That's some scary stuff. Too bad you weren't there. Those infra-order creeps would have been singing a different tune, the teenage boy says. You smile. You really hope that's the case, but truth is, everything about the infra-order is pretty terrifying. Don't even tempt him, you hear a familiar voice say. Dunce can't resist a good uphill battle. You turn around, and there stands Jenny Yu in the flesh. So, we gonna do this thing or not? 10 minutes later, you fly through the air towards the southern outskirts of MC with Jenny floating beside you. One of the first applications of your infinity powers you've been working on is the gravity manipulation of specific items. You finally worked your way up to people-sized objects, which currently allows you to make Jenny fly. Luckily, it's a short ride. Constantly negating Jenny's gravitational pull as she moves is no walk in the park. You still think she's crazy to trust you this high up. You wouldn't ever admit that to her. Let me see that. 10 power. Okay. Habadibi. This is absolutely unbelievable, Jenny says, looking as a kid as she soars. Is this what flying actually feels like? I don't think so, you say. I have to focus a lot to keep afloat now. I know it's because of my gravity powers, so what you're doing is probably way more fun. You bet your scrawny behind it is, Jenny screams, her ponytail whipping in the wind. You eye Jenny and can't help but smile. After all, she's your brother. Jenny looks even more beautiful up here. She's a lesbian, don't push it. Jenny's been with me through everything, mostly because Jenny looks crazy and graceless. She's my best friend. And Jenny doesn't have any powers, so this must be a thrilling experience for her. You wonder what life must be like without powers, and hope you never have to find out. So does this ride go any faster, Jenny says, revving imaginary motorcycle handlebars? Your wish is my command. You focus on Jenny and close your eyes, mentally nudging her forward. But when you open your eyes, Jenny is gone. You hear the sound of a distant scream, and you look up to find that Jenny has hurtled another 100 feet higher into the air. Oops. Holy slide, you say to yourself as you rocket upwards to catch Jenny. You only intended to loosen the gravitational pull on her a smidge so you could move faster. You have no idea why she became so weightless. You focus on Jenny again and turn off your powers, causing her to suddenly drop back downwards so you can catch her in your arms. That is not funny, Jenny screams in your ear. Oh, it was a little funny. That just took 10 years off my life, you Neanderthal. Jenny says, pull that again and I'll knock you senseless. You smile because you don't want Jenny to know that that wasn't your idea of a practical joke. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time the new powers of yours have flared out of control. It looks like there's going to be a bit of a learning curve when it comes to being an infinity powered. Did that help my stats with her? That didn't go away, did it? No, okay, it's a fine. It is. Oh my god, it took 5 power though to do that. I'm not even in the freaking event yet. I'm already down 15 power. That's fantastic. But this thought vanishes from your mind as Jenny points across the sky. That's certainly a bloody thing, she says. Your eyes widen as you look down at the line of several thousand heroes snaking across the ground. They're all waiting for entrance into a sprawling, massive complex. It's a lot to look at, the colors and types, the fangs and wings and weapons. You weren't wrong to think of all Melinda City's heroes would be trolling the tracks. They're not, because they're here. And not just MC's heroes. You recognize a few faces of heroes you know operate in Manhattan, some who moved down south to LA, and you even some kids from the famous team in Denver. You knew this was going to be big, but your eyes then settle on a giant holographic sign that floats above the compound in bold red letters. It reads, The Hero Project.